More now on the death of an orca we told you about last night. Experts say the resident female killer whale may have been killed by a military explosion. Tonight, conservation groups are calling for more protection for marine wildlife. Dana Hutchings has more in tonight's Checkpoint.
Jim, the body of the 3-year-old female orca washed up near Long Beach, Washington in mid-February, just days after the Canadian Navy was using sonar in the Juan de Fuca Strait. While the Navy insists there were no marine mammals in the area at the time, wildlife advocates are calling for stricter rules. Kylie Stanton has the details.
Look at that.
In the waters off the southern coast of Vancouver Island is where these killer whales have made their home. But since February, the L-pod has been without one of its youngest members.
Pretty devastating to a species that's so much at risk.
The 3-year-old killer whale known as L-112 washed up north of Long Beach, Washington on February 11th. A necropsy determined it died from massive trauma to the head, chest, and right side. At the same time, the Royal Canadian Navy was operating in the Straits of Juan de Fuca.
HMCS Ottawa was conducting a workups training on February 6th, and as part of that training, they were conducting anti-submarine exercises, including the use of sonar.
The Navy insists during the period when the ship's sonar was in use, the marine mammal mitigation policy was followed. Nothing was detected in the area.
We take certain steps before we do any exercises, such as the use of sonar, to protect the species at risk in the area.
But the possibility the naval operations are somehow responsible for this has prompted calls for change. 8 conservation organizations are urging the Canadian Navy to exclude military training exercises from the critical habitat of the southern resident killer whales. A joint statement released by the David Suzuki Foundation Wednesday calls for establishing an exclusion zone where training with MFA sonar, other high-intensity active acoustics, and explosives is prohibited. For those who frequent the waters, similar precautions are already being taken.
This is the depth sounder, and this records the depth of water below your boat.
It's accomplished with sonar, but when whales approach,
we turn our radials down low, and if we have sonar in our boats, we turn those right off, unless we need them for navigation. But we turn everything off. We want to have the lowest impact we have on the whales.
Protecting from this kind of damage becomes more critical with every loss. This whale was the 4th in the area to die from suspected human interference in recent years. Experts say it's time to put an end to the disturbing trend.
I don't know what the solutions are, but it's obvious that the practice that they're doing now is causing huge damage.
And our checkpoint question, should military testing be restricted in ecologically sensitive areas? You can tweet us at @check_news, post on Facebook, or email us as well at checkpoint@checknews.ca. The death of the young female is a significant loss to the already endangered killer whale pod. And that's prompted environmental groups such as the David Suzuki Foundation to call for critical habitats to be off limits to military exercises. Our checkpoint question, should military testing be restricted in ecologically sensitive areas? Here's what you have to say.
I think that before you make any kind of decision, you have to make an assessment of all that's going on there. But I believe in the environment, so if it's proven that it is affecting the area, I would like to see it banned.
Our environment is way more important to us than war or any machinery of war.
I think they should be acting in areas that are safe for all the wildlife and humanity, for that matter.
They have to test stuff as well, right? So, but I don't like to see anything in sensitive areas like that.
From Facebook, Phyllis says definitely yes. Military testing may well turn ecologically sensitive areas into wastelands. Don't destroy what we're all trying to protect. Christina says just not certain times of year when our whales are coming back through our waters. Like right now, the gray whales are traveling through to head back to the north. Alan says, should the military test in the middle of Victoria? No. So why test in an ecologically sensitive area? A no-brainer, isn't it? And here's how you voted in the web poll. 90% think it should be restricted. Only 10% say no, it should not. As well as the Canadian Navy, the coalition of environmental groups said they would like to see the U.S. Navy as well work to protect the region's marine wildlife. And that's tonight's Checkpoint.